one of my trips to Yosemite, we were walking on a trail, my parents, my family and I, and we came across a huge boulder that was on the side of the trail. What was amazing about this is that the boulder had been split in two, and a branch was growing out from between the split parts of the boulder. And it was simply, to me, just magnificent to see how, even though there is this massive rock, that this living thing had just kind of, I guess, bored right through the center of this rock and burst through, and it says, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to have to go through rock, I'm going to do it. And it was truly something astounding to see. And it reminded me of this line, life finds a way, right? And today the antiphon that's presented to us is O radix Jesse, O root of Jesse. The phrase goes on, O sprout of Jesse's, the stump of Jesse, which is interesting to think about. When you think about the stump, it's usually because the tree has already been cut, and the stump is kind of hardened over, and it's not really much is expected of it. But you go past the stump one day, and there's a little fresh branch just kind of shooting off the stump. Or perhaps you might have seen this. You might have seen a very large tree, which already has branches that reach way up into the sky. And you happen to pass by one day, and at the very base of that tree, a new branch is starting to form, a lot lower than you might think. And it makes us pause and say, what's going on here? Why is this? What's happening? And I'm sure scientists have all kinds of ways of talking about it through chaos theory and fractal calculations and all that kind of stuff. But there's something beyond that. We look at the pregnancies of these two persons we heard today, and their reality, their normal was, we're not going to have children. There's, for some reason we have been kept out of this blessing. And then they encounter this message from an angel, which results in a new life. And in these cases, we're made to understand that in God's time, He's chosen for what appeared to be barren, or already having gone past that age of being able to do so, now new life is springing forth. And again, it's a reminder that when God desires something to happen, it will happen. What's the phrase from Isaiah? That just as the rain falls to the ground and does not return without having done its work, so does the word of the Lord is not without effect. So when God desires something, we may think on our end, I'm past all of that. I'm past all of doing these things. I think I've done everything that God has asked for me, and that's it. And then there's that one day we notice something flowering within us, and we're like, what is this going on? And then we realize that God isn't done with us, which at times is scary and also quite lovely, because we know that God can bring about all sorts of new things in our lives. So what does it mean? It means that Advent reminds us we must always have a spirit of anticipation, of expecting that God at some point may make something flower or blossom that we never would have thought of before, we never would have conceived. And to pay attention to what's happening, because God is making something happen that is for His will, that is for the benefit of others. Just as the people around these women said, what will this child be? They recognize the uniqueness of these pregnancies, of these new lives. And we also can have that response. What will this new part of my life be? And to experience it with a sense not of fear, but of great joy. An Advent promise coming to fulfillment in our lives.